this is Chris Pope with Deeper Root Spiritual Ministries. So glad you could join me today. We're in the Sermon on the Mount, lesson number 12. Do not, number one. I decided to change this a little bit. You know, we're in the middle of actions, and just for some reason, the Holy Spirit is just like, say, do not, number one. So it's Matthew chapter 5, verses 19 through 24. You know, it's interesting as a little kid, if you were ever at the beach or if you've ever played in a sandbox or whatever, and you take really dry sand and you put it in your hand and you hold the sand, it will squeeze right through your fingers. It's just very dry. It's very granular. It just flows through you. You really can't hold on to it. You can't pack it. You can't make nothing out of it. It's just sand. Sand is not the way that it works, and how it works is just the way it is. And sand passes through your fingers so quickly. And I will say this: money, wealth, things are the same way. They pass through your fingers very quickly. And, you know, a good thing to look at is just, if you get a chance, get some sand in your hand and try to squeeze and hold on to it. And the more it flows out from your hands, there's very little left. And that's just life. That's wealth. That's things. They come and go. We're just stewards of them for a time and a season. We're always in the New American Standard Bible, edition 2020, Matthew chapter 5, verses 19 through 24. Let's jump right in. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves do break in and steal. Now, God understands all things. He is the creator, the author of all things. And he wants us to understand wealth and how it works, or things and how they work, and what your focus and what your focus is not, to realize things come to pass. We're just stewards of them. They're flowing in and out of our lives constantly. And they just, like I said, looking at sand and just having the sand flow through your fingers, it just shocks you how little of the sand you can hold on to. And literally, sometimes it's the moisture in your hand that captures it. It just flows through your hand so quickly. It's just, in the drier the sand, the less it has a chance to do that. And just realize Jesus is saying, look, do not store it for yourselves. Do not. And that's why I call the series the do not area. But do not store it for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy, where thieves do break in and steal. That's part of life. And realize, yes, we do things in life. We protect ourselves. We work hard. We buy certain things, but we're just stewards of it for a time and a season. I love how the American Indian looked at the world around them. They said, we're stewards of the ground, the land, the things that we are. We're not in control of anything. And they looked at it that way. Again, the reason we own property and everything else is a very European ideal, which that's where I grew up. So I'm very used to that. But again, do the things possess me, or do I possess things? Do I use the things, or do they possess me? And that's really what the crux of it is. In verse 20 and 21, it says this: but when you store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth or rust destroys, where thieves do not break in and steal, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So what are you doing with your wealth? Are the things, or a percentage of your wealth? Are you giving it away? Are you storing every dime up and protecting it? And, you know, I love A Christmas Carol. Scrooge is the character, and he stored everything up, and his money was his God. And, you know, the danger of money being God, or control, or power, or property, or things controlling us. And we literally bow down our lives to them and look at our wealth, or things that God gives us as stewards to share with other people, and, you know, to balance life and to live a very balanced life, not begrudgingly giving, as Jesus says, but give with a willing heart, and realize anything you store up, you just give away, goes from here to heaven, and it's stored in heaven. It's where thieves can't get to. It's where no destruction can come to that, because it's spawned from the heart. And our life is so very brief. It's just a short time that we're here, and things are just things. Money's just money. And you have to be number to it, and you realize, because sometimes we hold on to it way too tightly, and it literally flows through it. The more tightly we hold on to it. But it's interesting with sand, if you cup your hand, more will stay there, and it stays where it's supposed to. And, realizing that all blessings, all wealth, all things come from God anyway. And to be easily willing to give back to God and to be free of that and to be free of the burden of things or stuff and just really love others is where we need to live. Verse 22 says this, and the eye is the lamp of the body. So then, if your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light. Your eyes, and understand our eyes say a lot about us. I think sometimes, and that's why, when you're communicating with other people, you need to look them in the eye. It's really important to speak to them, to look at them, to look at who they are, because the clarity of the eye has a lot to do with it. And if you're looking at somebody and they're looking back at you and you're like, I don't know about this deal, or I don't know about, working with them or whatever. And I've done that in business, professionally, and in life. I get that vibe from them and I can see into their eyes and they can see into my eyes. What is my intent? What am I looking at? What am I doing? Again, the eye is the lamp of the body. It's the source where light comes in. And also the intent of our heart proceeds out of our light, the light within us. Because understand, because if your body is full of light, then people will see it and people will see the intent. And I say often that, sometimes kids, babies are more sensitive to that. Animals are more sensitive to that than you think they are. And they have this sensitivity. They can really tell if somebody has good intent or bad intent. They can see into their eyes. And it's just interesting how that works. And again, the eye is such an important part of life, and it's a window into who we are. And it says in 23 then, but if your eye is bad, the whole body is full of darkness. So if the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So understand, again, light, God is life, God is light. If he's coming into you and dwelling you, if he's flowing back out of you, again, if you are a steward of things, and look at your stewardship of all that you are, all that you possess, all that you're in charge of, and it kind of flows a lot more in and out of your hand. If you realize it's not to grasp it, to crush it, to hold on to it, it's to truly let it go and say, okay, God, I'll just let it go from you, and I will let it go and just let it be separate from me, and just know that that God, you're in charge. I'm not. Lord, I love you. I appreciate you. And I just thank you for who you are. And then finally, let's look at this. And it says, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. You can't serve both things. You must serve God and God alone. God is the only master of your life. There is no other. You trust him, you follow him, you go after him. You know there's no one else to serve. You serve God and God alone. You can't serve wealth things. Again, it's the sand in the hand. It comes and goes. You have to serve God and God alone. Trust in him and hold on to him no matter what happens in life. Let God lead and guide and direct you, and let go of your wealth, and understand you're just a steward for a short time and a moment. Just let God lead, guide, and direct all things. And thank you again. I pray you receive God's love, his light, and you release his light and his love from your heart, because God is here with you and God is with you in all things. This is Chris Pope. God bless.